Do you think about Andrew Tate and what's gone on there?
Yeah, so I made a few videos on this, and the reason I'm referencing the videos is just so I remember what I said. Okay, so the first video I made, I mentioned how I was just like looking into him. I seemed people in my comments were, I wouldn't say they were kind of coming after me, but they kind of probably thought I was one of the haters or whatever. So my overall conclusion of Tate, I guess, would be that I think that as much as okay, I don't think that he's um okay, so I don't see him as this crazy evil misogynist. In fact, there's some things I don't agree with, like in a sense where I wouldn't live my life like that, or like in a sense where like what I don't agree with him when he talks about this whole like sleeping around thing. I would rather like nobody do it, like where I think he mentioned something about like how men can like cheat but women can't. I think nobody should at all. Like in my opinion, like I wouldn't want to be in a relationship where the guy thinks he can cheat. Like I don't want him to, like, just, but that's how like a lot of people think. Like that should be normal. But some people have different beliefs. It is what it is. But I personally, even, being a girl, being through what I've gone through, I don't think of him as a threat to me. Like I wouldn't feel unsafe around him. I also, apparently he's being held illegally, in a sense. Illegally, when I say that, I mean like there's no evidence apparently, and they're still keeping him there. And that no matter who he is, like I don't people should not be wrongly kept there when there's no evidence. And I think people are trying to find evidence against him. And I think, you know, this is the thing. Some people look at like little things he said, like they look at the things he said about feminism, about the war, and they form like a really bad opinion on him. And you don't have to like him, but like justice has to prevail. So if he's there wrongly, people should talk about it, or people should try to do something about it. And I just, even if he was there, like, I honestly don't think he trafficked people. I think the worst he's done, if he's done this, is maybe with his business, like scamming people, but at the worst, I really don't think he's trafficked people. I don't know. What do you guys think?
So with Andrew Tate, like I won't talk too much about him being in prison because I feel like it's very cloudy, and because in a Romanian prison as well, there's not much information that we can really go off.
Yeah, this is just what his
Um,
lawyer was saying. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, like everyone on his side is saying that there's no evidence and he shouldn't be kept there. But I'm not going to comment too much on that. But him as a person before he was in prison, I was looking into him because I was really interested in him because I was hearing a lot of like younger men were listening to him, and I was thinking like, why is this guy like taking off so much? So I started listening to him, and I thought, all right, like he's actually talking a lot of sense, and you're right in a sense where he says a lot of shit that I don't believe in, and I wouldn't follow that same path of life he's taken. But I feel like he picks up on a lot of issues in society, especially with. I feel like from a male perspective, there's a lot of issues with young men in today's society where I feel like they don't have a place in society because a lot of masculine traits are being branded as toxic masculinity. Whereas I think Andrew Tate says, no, it's okay to be masculine. Go out, like, work hard and like be a man, like be the protector that you are. Which I think is a good message for young men to listen to because it gives them some sort of responsibility and some sort of meaning to their life. Whereas before they might have been lost and had no direction. Andrew Tate telling them to go out and be the protector that you are gives them some purpose to go and get it, go and get something, which I think is good for mental health, the men's mental health. And there's another thing I heard him. He said a young guy came up to him, said that or I emailed him and said he's really depressed at the moment. He's considering committing suicide. And Andrew Tate, and he said, "Can you help me?" Andrew Tate said, "Go to the gym, go and get a six pack, and then come back and talk to me and tell me how you're feeling." So he did that. He came back and spoke to him. He said, "I'm feeling miles better. My depression's gone. Like I'm really happy now." But it's given him a goal to work towards that's got him out of that depression.
Right. Yeah, like the thing with him too, though, I guess, I don't know if, I guess this is like like relating to it. The thing with Tate though is I feel like, okay, so I think with Tate, like I've always been on the fence with him, because when it comes to these people online, I just don't fully, like I don't idolize anybody online like famous, because I don't know the way they really are. But I don't, I'm kind of in the middle about him. Like, yeah, like you said, some things I agree, some things I don't. But I don't think that he's like a threat to me, at least like as a woman, right? Because it's all about him being sorry, about him being like a misogynist. I don't see him like as a threat, but I just feel like now sorry, what I'm noticing too is like a lot of people who have kind of like bounced off of Tate or like done something similar with Tate, they tend to, so I saw this like podcast, like I came across it on Rumble, where they get like 6-7 girls, like I guess they're Instagram models, in a room, and then they start
fresh
asking
and
them
fit.
exactly them. And exactly them. And I see the comments, and they're all like there's, I guess they're all guys, and they're all like saying stuff about these girls and stuff like that. And I feel like they're not looking at the other side of things, where there's girls that are not doing this, but they want to find a guy that's similar to them. Like in like, I guess what I'm saying is like, I also feel like now men and women are at each other's throats too with this whole Tate stuff, because there's men saying, I want a woman like this, women saying, I want a man like this. And they're not looking at the more like calm side of it, where there's two people that want to be together, that want to, because sometimes I feel like these people, Tate type of people, they also can be a bit like hypocritical in some sense, or like they don't see the other side of things. Like they say women this and that, but they're not seeing what about the women that are doing this and that, but they want a guy who's also being loyal to them and not doing all this stuff that they're doing. I hope you guys get what I mean. Like, I think they're just seeing the more extreme side of it. Like, I think everyone's seeing the more extreme side, like the extreme girls, the extreme guys, but like there's no middle ground, or like the people that are calm and they're doing things in a good way. They're just not the loud voices.
Yeah. Well, I think like Fresh and Fit, for an example, is two extremes literally just sat on a podcast arguing with each other.
Yeah, I stopped it. I couldn't watch it. Yeah.
It's just a stupid concept, really.
It's not really a healthy discussion, right? They're not really getting anywhere with their discussion.
Yeah, they're just kind of coming at each other, and the fans are like calling people names, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's quite a toxic setting, to be honest.
I think that's like the issue with Andrew Tate, is he's built like a fan base that listen to everything he says and takes it as gospel and looks at him like he's Jesus, when he's not. Like, he says some things that are like sound-minded and all right, but then he says a lot of things as well that are a bit too wild and out there.
I actually said I think his fans are more extreme than him. There's kind of truth to that. At least what I've noticed. I feel like his fans are more vicious than he is. I don't know why. Like, I felt that aggression from the fans. I don't know why. Just me personally.
I think most of what he says, he's got. I wouldn't say I necessarily agree with everything he says, like you've obviously mentioned, but I understand where he. Obviously, it's his opinion. It's where he's been on his own journey, obviously, and he's built these opinions over time. But any opinion he has reasoning behind his opinion. He's not just plucking things out of thin air and saying things just to sort of stir a pot and cause, I don't know, controversy. But what he's actually saying, he's always got reasoning behind it. And same with Jordan Peterson, he's always got well thought out reasons for what he says. But everyone's different. I prefer hanging around with certain people and not others, but it's up to the listener to take on board what best suits them in their life, rather than, like Aaron said, listening to every single thing he says as gospel and then adapting your whole life around, shit, I want to be Andrew Tate, I want the Bugattis, I want the private jets, I want to cheat on my other half. You just might want the Bugatti. So listen to the things that he says to help you go and get your Bugatti. You might just want to cheat on your partner. So just, that's a negative thing, but just listen to the parts of what he says to cheat on your partner. Don't listen to everything he says. Don't listen to everything Jordan Peterson says. Anyone that's got don't listen to everything that we say on our podcast. Everyone's got their opinions, and people need to own their opinions. As soon as you start getting mad at Andrew Tate because of his opinions, what does that mean for everyone else? That means we can't have our opinions either. So it's just another sort of string into the cancel culture, and it's everyone's just using Andrew Tate to progress where cancel culture's going. People just need to actually realize and actually stop and think for a second instead of getting angry all the time and think, well, this is a human being who's got opinions. He's probably not always right. No one's ever right. No one's perfect. He's not a godlike image, like you've said.
Yeah, like I'm able to separate the argument from the person. Like I look at the argument. I actually made a video, like a short video saying like, even like now that he's arrested, I'm not going to take down my videos on him because like I still think that a lot of things he says, like, with this whole free speech thing, with like the whole, like, I think a lot of it is important to hear, and people were agreeing with me. But the thing is, a lot of people, and like from, let's just say, like when he said stuff about like political situations that are happening in other countries or conflict that's happening in other countries, that's like a big reason why a lot of people don't like him, because he said stuff about things happening in other countries, about certain leaders and things like that. And I understand that these people are upset about that, but we have to kind of also look at the bigger picture, like what he is saying that can benefit society, And like, if someone were to like think that I agree with everything he says just because of the videos I made, like that's their loss. Like, I'm not going to apologize for talking about things because people are taking it the wrong way. Then, yeah.
I feel like the people who agree with every single thing he says, are just as bad as the people who disagree with everything he says because he said one thing they disagree with.
Exactly. Yeah. Middle ground.
But then you've got to look at it like from this point of view of how has society allowed that person to blow up to the point that they've blown up? There must be a requirement or a need within society for a role model like Andrew Tate, or else he wouldn't have got to the level that he's got to. If he was just saying shit that wasn't right and no one could possibly agree with, he wouldn't have got to the level that he's got to. So you got to strip it back to society and think there's a need for it in society. Why is there a need for this? Because there's no male role models out there.
I also think it's because he's very extreme about it. So for example, like if I were to make clickbait thumbnails saying, I'm in love with Andrew Tate, or I want to like push Andrew Tate off a cliff, whatever, then that would get attention because like extreme, like you have to, I think to get views and attention and everything, you got to make like really extreme points. But I wouldn't do that. Like I wouldn't clickbait things and things like that. But that's how to get people's attention, because his points were considered like extreme as well, like the little clips. So I think they took his little clips that were kind of extreme and put it out there to get like attention. Because the reason why I think all these people are going famous, like it seems like the crazy people or like the extreme voices are getting famous is because people want that drama. Like if you're level-headed, like us, for example, or like rational, it seems like people don't care because it's not like giving them drama,